What is going on? We are back in the wild west of Dokkan. Let me show you something. Let me show you something real quick. Now, wait a second. Wait a second. Before I go any further, let me just say, since 2017, I have been with a company known as Nokia. Let me just say, Donald Trump, if this nigga secures the funding for this stock and this becomes the new go-to 5G strategy, I will not only vote for Donald Trump, but I will personally eat his orange ass. God bless that man. But with that being said, right now, I am ignoring the protests. I'm ignoring the fate of my countrymen. I'm playing Dokkan and doing interviews. So, as you can see, if you've been on the Dokkan Battle Reddit in the past 1 or 2 days, EZA Goku is coming to JP. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I don't think I'm gonna have the time or energy to farm that motherfucker on JP. But this shit is gonna be time consuming. Already, there are gem units you need. These are all free to play units, which is cool. I already got this Android 13 rainbowed recently on Global just because I was curious, so fuck it. By the way, you need all these characters rainbowed, all these characters SA10, all these characters EZ8, so... so I got the Raditz, I got this Android 13, I'll eventually get this Frieza in the future. This guy looks like a badass, dude, that motherfucking big-ass Namekian head. And then this is going to come. But the most annoying grind is probably this AGL cooler, just because of the fact that you need to get him from the story mode. I actually found a post where it was comparing different stages with drop rates based out of 50. I don't know when this was done. I don't know if this changed. So actually kind of interested in doing that myself. Possibly, maybe. Reason why I say possibly, maybe is because... I kind of wish they gave us more meat, more delicious. The fuck? An error has occurred. Fuck you. More delicious meat, because then you could restore your STA. But you know what? I'm lacking on the stones. I have that shitty at the moment Extreme AGL Cooler SA2. And that's another thing. You can get his SA from the cooler event. It's not around right now. And let's be honest, like, I'm very, 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 cautious, or, not necessarily cheap, but when it comes to your amazing keys of Portal, you should try to save that shit. So maybe just wait. More than likely that shit is going to come back around. But me personally, I'm going to go old school right now. I know this was not on the list of really good stages to farm, but I always liked this stage. I always thought it was pretty good. And I can use my Saiyans, my niggas, man. You know what I mean? We run squad deep, man. Me and my boys come out here going Sue-woo. I always liked the stage. And plus it's less STA, bro. We making big money moves, bro. Come on. But yeah, that EZA Goku is going to be fucking legendary. Literally legendary. Fucking amazing. And hindsight 2020, if these gems end up being super annoying, I don't think they're going to be that annoying. I already got 3 of the coolers I needed. Probably more than likely, get the bot. Motherfucker, you know how you get the strap? Get the bot. Plain and simple. No reason to crimple. But yeah, bro, we ready. Get the pitchforks. Get the fucking tractor trailers out. Get the fucking fertilizer. It's farm time, baby. It's grind time. This ain't even the full grind, because once the newer events come out, that's when you got to grind for them. Although I feel like people would grind for that shit anyway. Especially the EZA units. Like, they're worth it. Although, I'll be honest with you, I think I might have a couple of smooth spots on my brain, because there's a lot of EZA units that I have that I left at level 135 right before you upgrade their passive. One of them being the Extreme Tech Zamasu. And his passive is a huge upgrade because he gets damage up and damage reduction. And I'm fucking retarded because I never upgraded him. So, I say that like, I'm a subscriber to the ideology. But at the same time, I'm retarded. Mentally, I'm not all there. You know what I mean? My marbles are fucking falling out of my pockets. But yeah, something to look forward to. Don't look at the news. Don't look at the stock market, which is going down again for some reason. Don't look at anything. Just play Dokkan and pay your taxes, and everything will be A-okay. Actually, today, I had a 2-hour phone interview with Wells Fargo. And let me just say, speaking of stocks, banks, etc., Wells Fargo is probably one of the shittiest fucking companies that's ever existed for a lot of different reasons. Hold up. Nah. Hard only. You know what? Maybe I'll try the different stages. Try to mix it up. What's the AOE stage? The AOE stage for this was 17.4, right? So I'll try that out. I'll try it out. I'll give it a chance. My bad. But like the reason why Wells Fargo is so bad, like first of all, banks in general. If you're a software engineer or a developer, you should steer clear of banks because all I've ever heard, I swear to God, any developer on any level, junior, senior, executive, if you're majoring in computer science and you're going to... Alright, so I gotta go all the way down and take that fucking Nimbus, right? I believe so. So let's go take the Nimbus. But yeah, like I was saying, if you're majoring in computer science and you make it out of college, try to avoid banks as much as possible. Don't matter what they pay. Don't matter what you're going to do. It is going to be a stressful situation, dog shit requirements, and it's just going to be not a fun time. So Wells Fargo, if you're not aware, already before the financial crisis recently was taking a hit because, again, it was found out that they were lying about their accounts. They basically lied and said, oh, yeah, you know, we're doing great. We have an amazing million new accounts. We're super good. And then come to find out, magically, surprisingly, they fudged their numbers, cooking their books. And they've done this multiple times. But, you know, when you're on Wall Street and you make money, it's just a slap on the wrist. It's not a huge deal. But I had a 2-hour conversation with this. He was a software engineer, and he was doing the interview. And the first, 40 minutes was, very technical. He was asking me questions about my projects that I worked on, asking me about certain design principles. He was actually draining me, to be honest, because I've had so many interviews. I'm gonna be honest, this is gonna sound fucked up, this low-key wrong, but low-key right. It's wrong, but it feels so right. Is that since Donald Trump fucked H-1B visa workers, he basically said everybody that want to come here, you're not coming here for the rest of the year, and he even wants to kick the ones that are here now out. I don't even know how the fuck you're gonna do that from a legal perspective. The fuck. But bro, holy shit, bro. The economy was already good. Obviously, the coronavirus shit fucked it in the ass, quite well. But ever since 2016, I noticed that job applications now ask, "Are you a citizen?" Fuck green card, fuck visa. Are you a citizen? And I'm always like, hell yeah, motherfucker. Thank God for the 14th Amendment. I'm here, bitch. And now, dude, on job applications, no bullshit. I don't know if it's a direct link to what Donald Trump's doing and the executive mandate, but now I see when I apply to jobs, they go, can you prove you're a citizen? Not, are you a citizen? They go, no, fuck that, fuck this, fuck that, fuck you. Can you prove you're a citizen? Which is crazy. That's fucking nuts. And of course I tick yes. I'm like, hell fucking yeah. Honestly, I think if you are a black person, right, or a Latino person, because for some reason when you apply to jobs, they love, they'll fucking slurp you for that, affirmative action-wise. If you're a black or Latino that served in the military, right, and you are a citizen, that's it, bro. You in that motherfucker, bro. When you go for the interview and they give you the technical questions, you just put, you just be like, I'm half black, half Hispanic, I'm a citizen, and I'm fucking a veteran, and that's it. You walking in that bitch. And for me, I would say that interviews have been, I have an interview tomorrow. I had 2 interviews today. I had an interview yesterday. I had an interview Monday. I got 4 fucking interviews planned for next week. I got an hour interview Wednesday of next week. These are good companies too. I'm fucking horny, bro. Not now, I got yeeted by Amazon. Now I'm like, dude, fuck Amazon. I actually applied to Amazon again. I'm talking hella shit, but I did apply to them again because I've been studying more. But I am just fucking, rocking and rolling, boy. We are fucking out here. I already said no to 2 jobs because they were ass. Actually, after today, I said no to 3 jobs because I was talking to this dude from Wells Fargo. Bro, already, first of all, the guy I'm working with, the recruiter, all the positions he's, trying to sign me up for, all the positions he's, gearing me towards are, contract to hire, which is already a scheme. Contract to hire is they're yeah, we'll hire you, just do 6 months contract. And then, yeah, we'll definitely hire you, but we're not going to guarantee it in any way. And, you can't sue us if we don't hire you. That type of bullshit. Me personally, more than likely, I already told this guy, I told him multiple times, I'll keep an open mind, like for the position if it's really good. If the likelihood of getting hired is good, I'll do it. But, he's just trying to get me on the fucking employment docket. That way he gets his cut and he keeps surviving, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I already fucking told him multiple times. Like, I'll keep an open mind, my boy, but real talk, CX in the chat, I probably am not going to accept it unless it's really good. And there's a highly likelihood of getting hired. And I hear that at least verbally. And even then, I probably low-key won't even do it because I don't trust people. Motherfuckers lie a lot in the corporate world. Unless it's in an email or in a legal document, that shit don't mean anything. But I was talking to a dude from Wells Fargo today, and we had some technical questions. We had a pretty long discussion. Actually, the entire interview lasted from 5 to 7 p.m., which is fucking ridiculous. I've never had an interview that long, even with, like, algorithm questions. Algorithm questions at the most is like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I was like, fuck me, dude. So it's super long, and I know that for this interview process, like, I didn't even know what the fucking the position was, but, dude, talking to this guy, like, this motherfucker, like, I don't know if he meant to do this, but he was, like, warning me. He's like, bro, do not fucking work here, my boy. Like, I'm trying to catch this L for you and keep it away from you, my boy. Just be careful, right? So I was talking to him, and we got it because he's like, why do you want to go to why do you want to go to Wells Fargo, larger corporation, da da da? And I'm like, yeah, right now I'm working at a smaller company. It's like a mid-sized company. It's good, but I'd like to see what a larger company is, more structure, a little bit stricter organization, etc., etc. And personally, also, I never say this because for some reason in the corporate world you can't be honest. The pay, I do want to be paid more because I feel like I'm doing a lot of work and I'm not getting paid the amount I should be getting paid. But you never say that because for some reason in this country, saying that makes you a scumbag, even though employers will lowball you and cuck the shit out of you. You saying it is, a negative, so whatever. I don't say that shit. I'll play the corporate fucking weight games. These devils! So I'm talking to him, and he's like, yeah, you know what, though? From a small company, you might have some things that, you might feel like you're doing too much work, or you might feel like it's, too independent. But from a larger company, you're going to find things that are even either more annoying or just swapped, and he's just, like, going down the list. And he says something, like, dude, the more he described banking in general, and especially Wells Fargo, I was like, this is a motherfucking L, plain and simple, my boy. Like, this is the L. So he was talking about how at Wells Fargo, right? So he was like, so first of all, to deploy the software, they're like, we usually do it once a month. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of, for us, it's usually, if we can do it every sprint, we do it every sprint, 2 weeks. And he's like, unfortunately, for us, we are not in the cloud. So I already talked to a different company that was like moving towards the cloud like right now. And I was kind of like not trying to join them because I already did that shit. Like I would be a good value add for them, but they're not. What are they doing for me? Like, I'm literally going back in time, learning shit I already learned and contributing to them. And like, how much are they going to pay me really? Like, are they going to pay me so much so that it's worth it to not get paid a similar amount, either more or slightly less, and learn new shit? You know what I mean? So I ended up not taking that position. But then hearing this from this guy, he's like, yeah, we're not in the cloud, and we're not even planning on going. The other company was like in the process of it. This company, Wells Fargo, is like, yeah, we're trying to maybe move towards the cloud like Q3 2021. So basically a year and a half, which is like, that's like, dude. Anytime you listen to someone and they say quarter, if they start talking about quarters, already know that's a year. Like, say if I'm in Q1 and they say Q4, they really mean Q4 of the next year. So like a year. So this motherfucker really saying like 2022 sometime, we're probably gonna start the process of moving our shit into the cloud. And he explained that the software they use is a monolith. Now, when you're in the world of software, that's like the one word you don't really want to hear, because a monolith means that it's one piece of code that everyone works on. So I work on it, I test it, everything looks good. Dickhead down the street, down the hall, updates it, adds it, and then all of a sudden it's breaking. Now I have to go fix it, or he has to fix it, and it's more shared responsibility. There's a lot more room for error, and monoliths in general are like cancer. And banks in general are like cancer, dude. Like, they refuse to update, they refuse to upgrade. And he said something that blew my fucking mind, is that he said that when it comes to their deployment, like, everything is on Unix servers, like old school Unix servers. And like, you cannot even test the software when you deploy it. it's like all UI shit. Like if you want to do it through the UI and check the database, like do all manual, that's what you do. Like that would be a nightmare. Like, you know, if I had to do it, I would do it. But here's another thing that he told me that I swear to God, like dude, already in my mind I'm thinking like, okay, this position is working on technology I already worked on. You know, they're kind of in the past, it'd be like a step back. And they're a bank which has a bad reputation. And like the location kind of iffy, da da da. But then he's like, yeah, honestly, and he's like, honestly, the thing that's crazy is that he worked at J.P. Morgan and he worked at Wells Fargo, and he was saying that what's amazing is that at J.P. Morgan he would make production deployments almost every day. Sometimes it'd be a bug report, sometimes it would be an issue, etc., etc. But either way, it was like you know, something that was an agreed upon thing where it was kind of like, oh, come on, bro, like the fuck. It was kind of like part of the culture where it's like, all right, we deploy to production like once a day, or we deploy to production semi-regularly, which is not the end of the world. That's fine. But then he said for Wells Fargo, he's like, usually, depending on the size of your portion, it's usually at least a month, right? At least 1 month. And he was basically going down the list saying, no one spawned? That's an L right there, my boy. And he was going down the list basically saying that, you know, the bigger it is, the more sign-offs you're going to get, the harder it is to deploy to production. And like, the way they deploy to production is that you don't know anything. Like, you just know that this is the version, you tested it, it should work, and then there you go, that's what you do. And then what he said was, that made me, like, I laughed, and, like, he laughed, but you could tell, like, that motherfucker, he said he was there for 3 months. Already, I could feel in my balls that he wanted to leave. He was like, yeah, you know, what's funny is that Wells Fargo, right, you deploy once a month. And for JP Morgan Chase, we would deploy once a day. And he's like, what's funny is that the pressure and the stress is the same amount of level, where you're always stressed and always rushing shit. And I laughed, and he laughed, and he's like, no, really, like, banks are almost all the same, where you're always under the deadline. You're always given criteria that's changing. The definition shifts. He's like, you know, sometimes you'll have your business analyst that'll give you the definition for what needs to be done. And then it shifts, it changes, and then you have to work overtime. You know, you basically have to rush and hit a deadline. And, dude, with banks, they will absolutely shit can you immediately. Especially with me. Think about it. I'm coming in not as a full-time hire, as a contract hire. Like, already, I'm a second-class citizen, right? So that's another reason why, like, I'm, you know, wary about that. Is, like, my boy, like, they will fucking, what? They'll pay $5,000 to break the contract and then hit the dips. Like, I don't give a fuck. That's dog shit money. But, you know what, like, banks, they literally have to hit these numbers. Like, if they don't get the, you know, product out there, they will lose it. Like, if JP Morgan Chase is slow and they, you know, they're like, oh, we can't do it, can you give us a month? What their customer is going to do is going to go to some other company and say, hey, listen, they said they're going to take a month, you know, JP Morgan, can you, Wells Fargo, do it in 2 weeks? They'd be like, hell yeah, motherfucker. For $3 million fucking dollars, I'll do anything in 2 weeks. And then, you know, the fucking developers are basically whipped like fucking slaves and, you know, get fucked in the ass. So, you know, it was just sounding like a mega L, bro. Like, he sounded depressed as fuck. He sounded sad as fuck. And I was like, oh. And he asked me, he's like, and then, dude, what's crazy is that after that, so we had like a heart-to-heart. And, like, me and him, like, we both knew, like I was thinking to myself, like, my man, like, dude, no bullshit. At a certain point, like, I tried to not flex my job privileges. Because I was telling him, like, you know, I work on microservices. I deploy, like, you know, I could deploy to production by myself. It's tested before it goes to production. It's like test. This shit is so good. And I was like, do you have anything that, like, we have some that checks, sanity tests. Like, I played it down. Like, nigga, our tests are God tier. Like, the fact that we have so many tests and the quality of those tests, like, they're amazing. Like, no, but this is another reason why, like, I am not getting paid the amount I should be getting paid, is that not every team does this. Like, our shit is literally full fucking proof. Like, it's not perfect, nothing's perfect, but my nigga, in 2 years, we had 0 gigantic customer affecting production issues like that, and we're getting better with our testing. So, now I'm done slurping myself. I kind of played it down. I was like, can you say any tests? He's like, no, not really. I mean, there's no endpoints to test. There's nothing you can check, and he's like, it's really just an L. Like, it's just the process is not as good as microservices. And I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, this already sounds like an L. And then the next person I talked to, it was a little bit of a shorter conversation, because I talked to this dude from 5 to 6:30. That's a long-ass talk. And the person I talked to, low-key, did not want to talk to me, because as soon as I got on the phone, she called me at like 6:10, 6:15. And first thing she said, I didn't even say anything. I'm like, motherfucker, like, I'm taking time out. I'm talking to you. And she just goes, ooh, pretty late, huh? Pretty late. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, motherfucker, yeah, you're calling me. Like, what the fuck do you want me to say? Like, I felt like she wanted me to say, like, yeah, it is late. You want to call me tomorrow or something like that? But, like, I'm not going to do that. I have an interview tomorrow. So I talked to her for a little bit. And even her, she was low-key like, why am I putting myself in an L position? She's like, so you have a full-time position, right? You're working full-time. You know, you're doing good, da-da-da. And you want a contract position? Like, you want to give up your full-time role for a contract role? And I told her, like, yeah, you know, I was told that this is contract to hire and da-da-da. And, you know, the idea is that to have a high likelihood of, you know, getting a contract and that after it's done, I should get hired, da-da-da, story. And what's hilarious is that she actually told me, she's like, yeah, for us, a bulk of our workforce is what we'll do is we'll have like 2/3 be contract, and then we'll just keep renewing the contract. Like, they're not getting hired on. It's just like, as long as that project is a problem or as long as that project is annoying, they'll just keep throwing bodies at it. And I'm like, and like already when you're in a contract position, not a full-time position, like you could feel the energy shift. Like if I was experienced, if I had like 10, 15 years of experience and like this was just for guap and I didn't give a fuck and I could get any job anywhere, anytime, any motherfucking way, then I'd be like, all right, Betty, like I'll do this for 6 months, make more money, then I'll go to a different position or go back to my old job, whatever. I probably could do that, but I don't have the energy and I don't really want to fuck around and play games. Mostly because, you know, I just started to become lower middle class. Like right now I'm trying to work my way to fucking like middle class. Like right now, like this year after the corona bullshit, no joke, I'm not even joking. Like I probably saved so much money, like $300 or $400 a month on gas, easy fucking pass, so I don't have to pay that goddamn toll bullshit. You know, even food. Like I when I would go to my job, sometimes I'd eat at the job, pay $10 to $20 a week. You know, I'm saving money. You know what I mean? And plus the car insurance I got actually went down technically. Where it was like, fuck, which one is the Turles one? Let me think. 24.8, right? Android 17 and 18. What was the God tier stage that DBZ Space was saying? No, that ain't the right thing. Let's see. DBZ Dokkan Battle. Where that shit at? It sucks that I wish Reddit app had caching, but in order to add that'd probably be an L. Because the way Android's memory work is not the same as PC. So in order for them to actually do anything, 23.8. In order for them to actually do anything, they would have to use like a external memory system, which probably ain't even worth it. I wouldn't do it, to be honest with you. I'm a lazy fucking piece of shit. But yeah, I figured I'd do this stage one last time, see if we could get some fucking gems in this bitch. But yeah, so I had that interview. It was a good discussion. I basically had them tell me it's a shit job, shit industry. Don't work at a bank ever. This job is even shit compared to other banks. Because you're saying that, surprisingly, JP Morgan Chase is way better. Because JP Morgan Chase basically has better production capabilities. They're also moving towards Kubernetes. They're also in the cloud. And they're basically better in every way that you could imagine. But he also said, I used to work at JP Morgan Chase, and he's like, the stress is the same, the overwork is the same, the fucking no time off is the same. And I'm just sitting there going, God damn, bro, like, you're making me, like, I literally cannot work. And I even told, because I have a recruiter that I'm working with, and by working with, I really mean, like, honestly, I've been really open-minded, and I've just been like, whatever, like, I'll give this nigga a shot. Hopefully he gets paid just from the fact I'm talking to him, because on God, the positions he's been showing me have been straight fucking L's. Like, the fact that it's already a contract to hire position, which already like talking to this person, it ain't contract to hire, it's contract to contract, stay in the contract. Well, matter of fact, how about this? Next time we do the contract, we're gonna negotiate your price down a little bit, because you know what? We're in the economy, it ain't looking too good, and you can't get a full-time job any motherfucking way, because you've been working here in this fuck technology stack. So why don't you just fucking keep working here? So he was basically saying Wells Fargo was shit, dog shit, pure shit. And I told the recruiter that because, like, this nigga been draining me on God. Like, I actually saved him as a contact just so I could ignore him because that motherfucker would not stop bothering me. Like, he'd be like, oh, you know, as soon as you're done with your interview, call me, let me know. And I'm like, nigga, it's an interview from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and I'm supposed to call you, like, 7:15. And he even called me during the interview, and he was like, and then when I called him back, He goes, hey, it took a while for you to call. And I'm like, yeah, I just got off the call. And he's like, you just got done? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, so how'd it go? First of all, motherfucker should have known it wasn't going to go well because it was 2 hours on the phone, first of all. Second of all, they never gave me a job description. Like, these motherfuckers are just like, yeah, maybe we'll hire you, maybe we won't. Oh, there's no job description. Like, dude, I'm telling you right now, I already applied to jobs my first time around. Biggest red flag is when motherfuckers want to hire you and they got a job position. Like, they don't have a description at all. Not even some shit they threw in Microsoft Word. Never mind a fucking job listing on LinkedIn or something like that. Like, that shit is a fucking L. And, to be honest, right, I'm getting interviews out the ass. I really do not need this guy, and low-key, I should probably drop him, but these interviews have been so easy. Like, there's no studying whatsoever. That's another thing. That's another red flag, just so you know. As much as it is annoying as fuck and I want to kill myself doing all these fucking coding problems, if you go to a company and they don't have any coding tests, you better check the motherfucking credentials, because on God, you walking into some fuck shit. Because, so far for this company, like every company, I have not had any on-site interviews, which is a mega L, because the positions I've been interviewing for is level 2 or 3, which is like at least 3 years or more experience. And at that level, they want to ask you not only programming questions, but design questions, architecture questions, etc., etc. So if they ain't asking those questions, that means they ain't think about that, which means you going with the F troop. You know what F troop is? In the military, they got the fuck niggas in the back. Like, they ain't even worth it putting on a Vanguard, because they're just gonna get in the way. Just put, like, you know what, you F troop, you in the back with the dummies. Yeah, I told the recruiter, I'm like, listen, I told him straight up, right? I told him, listen, man, I was like, to be honest with you, I was trying to have an open mind. I'm like, already, it's a bank, so there's a negative connotation with that. And I also heard from him that, like, the other company, I told him the other company I ain't working there because they just moving to cloud, and I would be contributing more than learning. And I feel like, you know what, unless they're going to pay me buco fucking bucks, I'm probably not going to leave my job for that. And I was like, listen, so already, like, this is looking like a position I'm going to decline. And I'm like, and then I told him, like, after I heard what I heard, I'm like, there's no possibility of me accepting this, because he told me that basically they're not even thinking of going to the cloud until Q3 of 2021, which is ridiculous. That means that's like Q3, they're going to start thinking about it. Q2 of 2022 is when they might do something, which is fucking ridiculous. It's like, dude, like, I understand banks are boomer fucking institutions, but, like, you wonder why there's so many fucking, like, hacking attacks or, like, things like banks, hospitals, all the things you think should be the most secure are literally the least secured pieces of shit you could ever imagine. Like, motherfuckers got Windows XP running in the back just on fucking Unix machines. And it's like, nigga, like, how you not getting hacked right now? So I told them, like, listen, they're not very technology based. It's a monolith. It's something that I already did. I'm not very interested in it. And then I told him, like, dude, he told me, like, the work-life balance is terrible. He's been there for 3 months, and, like, he's, like, warned me about it. And I basically told him, like, all the warning signs he told me. And he's like, oh, shit. He's like, all right. He's like, damn, those hiring managers were really bad. And the one dude was there for 3 months. I pray for that man. I hope he gets the fuck out. I'm about to refer him to my company. My company isn't the best. You know what I mean? They did some scheme shit, laying some people off, and they're, like, it's a little annoying doing everything and not getting paid big money, buco bucks. I deserve at least $500,000 minimum. I mean, I just bring so much to the table. No bullshit, bro. I actually do bring a lot to the table. Not $500,000. Not that much. But low key, bro. I'm starting to get entitled just based off the fact that, like, I'm producing so much, and I already know my company. Unfortunately, unlike other companies like Google, Facebook, like the big tech companies, they do raises mid-year and end of year. My company only does raises mid-year if you're gonna get a promotion. And then end of year, like, they usually do, like, minimum 8-10%, at least. Like, no, actually, minimum is like 5-some%. Like, the last time I got a raise, like, that's another thing too. The last time I got a raise, I had to, like, fight to get a better raise, and I don't want to do that every time I fucking, like, go up. Like, I would love the company to just be like, yo, this nigga puts in work, because, like, there are people in my company that recognize that, I put in work, and the only reason I really got a raise is because last time I got, like, I think like a 10 or 12% raise, which is not bad. That is not a bad raise. You know what I mean? Like, some companies give you 5%, 8%, you know what I mean? And I'm making, every year I'm making more money, but I did so much fucking work last year, and and listen, when I do shit, I do shit. It's not bullshit. I'm not flapping my gums. Like, I got low self-esteem. I don't want to talk about the fact that I'm on some shit, but I'm on some shit, right? And honestly, like, all the jobs I applied to, like, my biggest problem with applying to jobs right now is that they reply to me too fast and I don't have enough time to study from. No bullshit. Like, that my biggest problem is scheduling all these calls. My nigga, I applied to 12 jobs and 14 fucking called me. Two dudes I didn't even apply to, just going to, like, hey, you looking for jobs? I'm like, hell, motherfucker, yeah, I'm looking for jobs. Sign me the fuck up. And it don't matter how shit the job is. I will at least do the preliminary interview. If at the very least I'll, like, learn from the shitty fucking, you know, software question. By the way, let me just say, I don't know if this is a crazy phenomena, but every ass job I've ever applied to, like, all the worst jobs have the hardest tests. Like, and when I say hardest tests, I mean the most convoluted. Like, I pass them usually just because, like, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do something and try to, like, meet the test case scenario. But, like, dude, first of all the fuck jobs, they ain't gonna use CoderPad. Dude, by the way, like, I want to, dude, as fucked Mark Zuckerberg is, I want to, like, suck his ass just because of the fact that fucking Facebook not only uses CoderPad, which is great. Like, a lot of the good companies I notice have used CoderPad, and they're like, they'll give you maybe a preliminary screening. Like, Amazon will give you a preliminary screening, which is alright. It's kind of annoying, to be honest, because it's very easy to get confused on the problems. Like the motherfuckers that write those problems, like, it's like they never read English before in their life. And it's kind of like, it for me, I would rather have a hard problem in CoderPad than an easy problem with that, or a medium problem with that. Because I remember I had one problem. I was talking to ByteDance, which is TikTok's, like, parent company. Bro, this motherfucker gave me a problem I never saw before in my life. That shit was hard as fuck. But just the fact that I could talk through it with the guy, and I had more time, and it wasn't, like, crazy, and it wasn't like no motherfucking, okay, here's 2 problems, do it in an hour type shit, you know what I mean? It was like one problem over, like, 50 minutes. And I just did way better, and I was able to communicate myself and get, like, a couple of small hints, and I was able to do it. I'm surprised, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Every time I do an interview and a motherfucker bring up the question, first 1 minute is not even me thinking. It's me choking, just going, I ain't never solving this shit. Yeah, so today, kind of an L interview. I got more interviews on the way. I did not tell my company I'm interviewing, because why would I do that? Why am I going to trust them with anything? But like I mentioned, I do put in work, and the current VP of the company, and or not VP, associate VP, whatever the fuck that means, like the junior vice president of the technology division, he actually got promoted to that division. He knows about me, and he knows I put in OD work. I don't know why, I don't know how, but he just knows, like, I'm a fucking slave to that shit. And basically, the last time, I was about to, like, hit the dip super quick. Like, I was about to, like, just tell them to go fuck themselves. I was not going to, like, just go crazy and skip out and not, you know, have a job lined up. And this is before Corona. Like, imagine if I did that and then Corona hit, I'd be, like, I'll be on death's door because of suicide, because then I would basically miss out on all the unemployment benefits. If you quit, you don't get unemployment. That's why if you're ever at a job and your employer try to scheme you and be like, you know, if you resign, we'll give you a recommendation letter. We'll tell them, eat my ass, suck my dick, fire me, bitch, so I can get unemployment. So at my company, I basically, you know, I did a good job. I put it in. I got the 12%, which was ass in my opinion. And that person, he was VP at that time, and he basically looked at it and he was like, yo, like, because I told my manager, I was like, yo, she's like, I told him flat out, straight to the point fact. I said, listen, I'm not satisfied with this number. I'm like, for what I did, for what I accomplished, for the work I did, I believe I deserve more. I believe I'm underpaid. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, do you want me to tell HR? I'm like, yes, please tell HR. Please tell the hiring, HR, you know, tell any fucking manager you see. Like, anybody you see in the streets, let them know I ain't happy about this shit. And what ended up happening is that he actually came back. We had another meeting, and he's like, you know, I'll try to, I was talking to the VP, and he said, you have, like, a counter offer. And I was like, at that time, what I had counter offered was, off my initial raise, was $21,000, which is pretty significant. But I was being underpaid. On God, I was being underpaid. So really, like, that shit, like, really, I should have asked for $25K, motherfucker. So I was like, yeah, I want 21 plus what that was. So the raise they already agreed upon giving me was like plus 10K. So what I was asking for was like another like 11K, right? And he's like, okay, I'll talk to the HR department, DDD, this, that, the third. I'll see if I can get that approved, and this, that, and the third. And then, I'm so happy I did this, bro. Like, this is the one moment in my life I have balls. And and then, what do you call it? Corona shit hit, and the Corona shit hit, and we all went to work from home, and I forgot about this. I was like, damn, I'm gonna keep applying. You know what I mean? Honestly, motherfucker, this is a blessing in disguise, because now all these interviews where you would have to drive there, take an L on gas, take an L on, taking a day off, bro, I'm home, boy. I put the webcam on, I'm sitting there in my fucked up shirt, fucked up cut, fucked up everything. Like, I'm talking motherfuckers at Facebook with a fucked up cut, and I'm like, yeah, why would I leave the house? I'm home, boy. The only thing that's bad about the Corona shit is that it did increase unemployment in general, which is, you know, bad for the economy and bad for people in general, but it's also bad for me, because motherfuckers that are unemployed have more time to study. And you know, to be honest, like, I have a job. If it's between me and a person who doesn't have a job, and I eventually get a better job in like a month or two, it's not the end of the world to me. Because, dude, these motherfuckers hungry out here, bro. Because I swear to God, I had an interview with Facebook on a Friday, right? I talked to them Thursday of the week before, right? And then I set up to have a test the next following Friday. These motherfuckers call me Wednesday of that next week. They just posted the job. Within 4 business days, these motherfuckers call me and say, we filled all positions. We can't hire anyone else. The budget isn't there. We have too many niggas. And I'm like, all right, but shit, I've been studying. Like, what the fuck? So, you know, there's that where it's more competitive. But at the same time, again, dude, the fact that I don't have to drive to like all these different cities and drive to all, but nigga, I applied to everywhere, motherfucker. I applied to California, Texas, fucking Rhode Island. It don't matter, bro. Like, it don't even matter if I want to work there. Dude, you know what I applied to? I forgot I applied to was the S&P 500. You know the S&P 500? Apparently, they have motherfuckers that work there as software engineers. And he called me today. I forgot he was gonna call me. He just called me. I said hello. He's like, hey, I'm with S&P Global. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then when I was talking to this dude, and he's like, what would be your salary range? This is what these motherfuckers love to drain you with. They go, what would be your salary range? Always over. Always say over. Don't ever undercut your bitch ass. So I was like, you know what? I'm targeting something for like 130. Me personally, 120 would make me happy. 125 would be great. 130, that'd be nice too. So I was like, I told him 130, and he's like, ooh, that's a bit over budget, but I'll take a look, see what we can do. I'm like, damn straight, you're gonna fucking take a look. Damn straight, you're gonna see what you're gonna do. Because at the end of the day, unfortunately for me, when it comes to the interview tests, I'm not terrible at them. Like, I will pass like 2/3 of them, but I am a choke artist. Like, for example, Amazon, choke artist. Like, the thing that I was fighting the most in that bullshit, no chat, was the fact that I wanted the job so much that mentally my mind was just like, oh my God, I can never work here because I just want it so bad. And I ended up having a choke artist moment. And also, I never saw the problem. Like, I really did not have that much time to prepare to BH, fam. Fuck, I'm gonna use this. No, I'm not gonna use a stone. Nah. But, yeah, in general, I'm just preparing, studying for interviews. Taking it slow on a roll. And, hopefully, EZA Goku comes to global sooner than later. Hopefully, I get those big bags. I get to a job that's bigger, better, has a pretty decent work-life balance, ain't a fucking bank. That shit scared the fuck out of me. And hopefully I'm not making a mistake, because you know what? At the end of the day, my company has a lot of quote-unquote 2-time offenders, 3-time offenders, motherfuckers that leave and come back. I'll do it. I'll hit a yeet and come back, because honestly, that's what companies love, is when you fuck them. Like, if I told my company right now, go fuck yourself, I found a job, they'd be emailing me going, please, we know we were underpaying you, but please come back, because when you go to a job, they will overpay for a candidate coming in and underpay a promotion, nigga, because they just think you're a fucking slave to the system, which I low-key am, because I probably should have started applying to jobs last year, like October. That way I could have been gone and done in, like, June of this year. But, hey, it is what it is. At the end of the day, there are bigger things to worry about. I try not to watch the news. I try not to think about it too much. But, you know, there's actual problems out there. There's actual shit that worries individuals. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep playing Dokkan. I'm going to keep interviewing. I'm going to keep studying. And, you know, hopefully some clicks. And at the end of the day, try to know your worth. And at the very least, if you don't get a promotion that you want, if you don't get a job you want, make sure you drain as much energy, because these fucking corporations will tell you, like, oh, you know, this is what every motherfucker told me when I tell them I'm applying to their job and someone else. If I said I'm just applying to your job, they'd be like, I bet you wait for us to call you. You sit there like a dick and you wait. If I tell them I have more applications pending or an offer, yeah, you know, listen, we'll try to have an interview tomorrow or you know, in fucking 4 hours, but, you know, if anything pops up, call me, let me know. That way we don't get fucked. And it's like, nigga, eat my ass. Like, I'm gonna fucking keep you in the loop. I have 8 niggas I gotta call now. You shut the fuck up. But that is it. That is all. Remember, Donald Trump made this country great. Donald Trump is gonna masturbate all over me because that motherfucker. Like, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. If Donald Trump hits me with another stimulus check, I'm probably gonna become a lifelong Republican just because of the fact it's so ignorant and so great. And who doesn't love paying higher taxes the next year over to pay the shit back?